Whew. What is up, guys? What's up? Hobby with Cage, episode 226. Brought to you by Arena Club and Bleecker Trading. Not Skybox. But they sent me a hat. If you want to send me a hat, I'll wear a hat in the video. There you go. Send me a hat. Got a Skybox, collectibles. Got a hat. I'll wear a hat. I'll wear a hat in the video. You send me a hat, you'll see it in the video. All right. 5 minutes of hobby thoughts today. Sell your stuff, man. Sell your cards. Just sell. Couple fun ones that gave me, some thoughts on this. Number one, everybody was going to be rich on SGA. It was like the lock of the year. Shaq called it after one game. He was going to win the MVP. He was going to win the championship. I have to do this like every time someone wins a championship, right? It's if you ever were in the stock market, they say buy the rumor, sell the news. That's the way it works here. SGA actually won the championship, and then all of a sudden, like people who have never done this before, people who were right, I'm going to buy it, and when he wins a championship, I'm going to sell it. Well, that's what everybody thinks, and it's just simple supply and demand. If everybody lists their cards after he wins a championship, there's more cards available for sale, and everyone's selling. You have an increase in supply, the price goes down. It's just what happens. And we're seeing it with SGA. You got to sell your stuff beforehand, right? And it's hard to know when to sell, right? It really is, right? Because you think, oh well, what if he loses? It's a game 7 and he wins, it's going to go up. No, it's not the way that it works. Obviously, you got to be careful. It's easy to say this with hindsight. Therese Halliburton, he gets injured. You never know what's going to happen, right? You never know what's going to happen with your stuff. But more often than not, taking a profit on a card is the way to go, especially when we have just the significant run up that we've had with cards. I mean, I don't know if you guys pay attention to auctions. I have a lot of people who watch and listen to this stuff, and you're all different walks of life. Some people are dealers. They're just buying and selling kabooms in downtowns and flipping case hits and going to the next show and, filling up their case and buying. I got repackers who listen to this stuff. I got all kinds of different walks of life. But if you're somebody who pays attention to the values of cards, man, things are flying. And if there's one area, and I sold a card recently, I still have a lot. So I may start taking my own advice here. If there's one area of cards that has really taken off, it's soccer cards. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while, and you guys have seen, my road to the national is almost kind of skewed that way because I had Rodman and I had, Miles both on talking about this. These guys were right, for a couple years. We shouldn't be surprised because the World Cup is next year, and the Club World Cup is going on right now. But man, Lamine Yamal, it's like a perfect storm, right? You got this rookie that everybody is just going crazy for and spending crazy amounts of money, which makes you look at the other guys. Messi prices have gone crazy. Ronaldo prices have gone up. Soccer in general, the prices have gone crazy. And, I have to direct you guys' attention to a couple things. One, it's the same exact scenario, right? There is this event that people are holding out for, that World Cup. So maybe there's still a little bit of a rise in these prices, but if everybody's buying for the same reason, for SGA's championship, right? For when SGA wins the championship, everybody's buying for that moment and boom, trying to drop it. Well, it stands to reason that people are buying their cards now in the run up to the World Cup, hoping that next year, when that World Cup happens, they're all just going to dump these cards for more money. It's not the way it works. So, if you're in soccer cards, you might, and they've run and you're in the profit on these things, you might want to consider, taking some money off the table on this stuff because of that crazy run, especially if you have Lamine Yamal cards. I know people are hoping maybe he wins the World Cup, maybe he wins. I mean, he wound up losing this last, tournament here. But I know people are hoping he wins and, that solidifies him, the whole deal. I mean, Haaland's scoring a lot of goals. He got to 300 goals before anybody, and Mbappe is still, he lost here in the championship, but Mbappe's still playing at a great level. Nobody cares. I mean, they were the Lamine Yamal before Lamine Yamal, right? They were the young guy before, and their cards, they did the straight rise and then the drop. So I watch that stuff. I come on, I say, be careful. You know, and overall, the market has run a lot. Maybe time to start selling some stuff. I mean, it's not just soccer. There are a lot of things that have taken a hell of a run. So if you're sitting back taking stock and saying, you know what, maybe I want to move some of my cards, and then to the segment of you guys out there that just don't care, that just don't sell. I love you guys. And let me tell you a quick little story here why you guys may be the smartest ones of all. If you're ready to be patient in this hobby, I'm not. I can tell you, I know my faults, I know my weaknesses. The patience in this space is not what's there because I have more fun in the space researching cards, finding something new, going in and out of cards, than I do just sitting holding something. But back in 2018, 2019, so it's not that far back, but 2018, I think probably 2018, I bought a card. I bought a lot of vintage cards, and I wound up selling the card. Um, I've talked about this guy. He wound up buying a big mantle like that one there. And, we met and, I did him a solid and I sold him some nice cards for not much more than I paid, because I thought it would be interesting to, a good thing to have him in the space and the whole deal. The card I'm talking about is Yogi Berra card. I love the Yankees. Some of you guys don't even know who the hell Yogi Berra is. But if you look him up, you see this guy is like basically the MVP for a decade. He was the Yankee that was after you had Ruth and Gehrig, then you had DiMaggio, then you had Yogi, then you had Mantle. You know what I mean? Like it was the Yankees have always had these like top line guys. I remember him. He was alive when I was a kid, for silly sayings and because he did commercials. Um, the Aflac thing. But I bought his rookie card in PSA 9. There's only one PSA 10. It was like I think there was 8 or 9 nines. The PSA 10 is owned by the owner of the Diamondbacks who owns like every great card. And I bought it. I think I paid $19,000 for it in 2019. I sold it for like 22. You know what I mean? Like it was a card that I liked, but this individual said he wanted to have it, and I moved it to him. Tried not to make too much of a profit on it. Everybody there's enough to go around, right? Um, and that card recently sold for almost $80,000. Same card, PSA 9. It didn't do a Lamine Yamal, right? It didn't moon like this. It didn't, when I bought it at 19, go straight to 50. But over the last, we'll call it 6 or 7 years, it has now gone up, 4x from what I bought it at, which is a great return. And you wouldn't expect to hear that great return because it's not, oh, I found the next big soccer rookie. I found the next big thing. I'm buying the next women's hockey star for the Olympics. I'm ahead of the curve. No, I was behind the curve. I just in an auction house, public sale. Now, a lot of that, remember, we've had 2 runs now. We've had the COVID run and this run, and a lot of that is just, rising tides lift everything. But that card was not 70 something thousand dollars last year or 2 years ago. It's a rare piece. It's just one of those things that, like, there's not a lot of in that high grade, and, it's gone up. So maybe you guys with the vintage cards and the right stuff, maybe you guys have the right idea if you can be patient enough. Anyway, so this is a long one. I try to keep it to 5 minutes. Um, if your cards have really run like crazy, you might want to think about selling cards. If you do sell your cards, maybe think about it's like diversifying a portfolio, right? Buy some blue chip stocks. Maybe think about buying, something that's been here for a while that may not double on you this year, but may go 4x in the next 7 or 8 years. Which, I mean, I can't do that in the stock market. I don't know if you can, but I can't do that in the stock market. So, anyway, that's what's on my mind today. And I'm sure I'll have more stuff on my mind tomorrow, in 3 days, whenever. This is an episode brought to you not by Skybox, but thanks for the hat, by Arena Club and Bleecker Trading. And I'll see you guys tomorrow or yesterday. Take care, guys.